Hello, guys. This is Daniel here for the week 5 discussion. Today, I'm going to be talking about classroom management strategies to deal with problem students. Now, dealing with problem students is something we're all going to have to deal with as teachers. And yes, and this is a favorite area of mine to work at. So, the course book identifies 3 different categories of problem behaviors. The first category that they describe is what they say non-problems. So this might be a small period of daydreaming here or there, or maybe a small little pause on doing their work. The course book recommends that these problems are so small that they don't really require much of an intervention at all, just because it's not worth taking class time to address them. The second problem is what the course book describes as a minor problem. Minor problems are leaving seats and walking around, passing notes, eating candy. If not checked, then these problems can eventually affect student learning. So there should be some disciplinary measures taken to kind of nip the problem in the bud. The third problem is what the course book describes as a major problem. And this is stuff like breaking major school rules, such as vandalism or cheating. And this certainly requires an intervention. Now, the course book recommends 3 different kinds of interventions: minor interventions, moderate interventions, and extensive interventions. So to start with minor interventions, one way we can do this is just by nonverbal cues. So let's say a student is talking, you could just look at them, go like this, or look at them and shake your head. This is very low investment. It shouldn't really distract from the class or take much of your energy as a teacher to do. But one thing that the book says is never ever touch a student is a nonverbal cue. This could get you in a lot of trouble. So you can look at them, you can go like this, you can shake your head, but never ever touch them. The second strategy the book recommends is to reduce transaction time. What I mean by this is a lot of minor problems like talking, goofing off, passing notes. This happens when the students aren't engaged in an activity. So the longer you spend in between activities, the more likely students are to get off task. So by really reducing transitions, you can really prevent a lot of problems from happening in the first place. The third example that the book gives, which I really like a lot, is to reduce proximity. This means just to get physically closer to the student. If a student is off task, you can maybe stand behind them. They're going to know your presence, or stand right in front of their desk. 90% of the time, the student will just kind of stop what they're doing because they know you're right there. Or maybe you could sit down next to a student if they're not doing their work and talking. And when you sit down next to them, they're probably going to start doing their work. The second strategy the book recommends is moderate intervention. This can be done in a few different ways. One great way is to withhold a class privilege. So let's say there's a game they really like to play in class. Say, no, we're not going to play that game today because you guys were talking too much or you guys are off task. This is a great strategy. Or you could isolate a student, have them sit away from the rest of the class if they're distracting the other students. You can also give them a penalty, such as a little bit of extra homework or extra work. Detention is always a great strategy too. And you can give them a referral to the office too, if that's not really working out. What you can also do is always give the students a choice, saying, listen, you're going to do your work, or you're going to stop talking, you're going to stop constantly eating candy, or you get detention, or you get extra homework, or we're not playing your favorite game at the end of class. So giving the students a choice between what the consequence is and what they're expected to do is a great strategy for moderate interventions. The last strategy is extensive interventions. And this is for really serious problems. Let's say a student just chronically does not do their work, or they've been caught cheating, they've been caught vandalizing, stuff like this. A great strategy is to actually have a problem-solving conference with the student. And in this conference, you talk to the student about what they're doing, and you create a contract with them that sets out your expectations and what the consequences are. And the student's going to need to sign on to this contract. You could also hold a conference with a parent, where the parent actually comes in and you discuss the student's behavior. Or you could create a daily report card, where if the student's so problematic, you write what they're doing every day, you identify what their problem is, and saying this, if it's continuing, if it's being reduced, and the report card can be monitored by the parent or by another individual at the school. And I think this is a really excellent strategy to hold students accountable for what they're doing. So guys, these are the three, I described the three different kinds of problems and three different strategies or intervention strategies for addressing them. I hope you like my video and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.